last 100 pages of Jaws, which I'm reading for the first time. So far, I like it. I'm getting more insight into the Amityville residents that you don't really get in the movie. The book opens the same way the movie does, with that female character and her boyfriend running on the beach, and then she dives into the water and she gets taken by Jaws, and then they don't close the beaches, and then a few more people die, including the little boy, and there's the whole scene with the mother. So far, I'm liking it. I know that it gets weird, and there's like subplots involving affairs and mafia, I think, but I haven't gotten there yet, and so far it's not bad. We just met Hooper, and we just learned that it's probably a great white shark because they found Ben Gardner's boat and it's abandoned, but they found the great white tooth. So I will touch base when I have a little bit more to say, but so far I'm liking it. So far so good. Okay, so I'm 200 pages into this, and we have gone about 100 pages without any shark action.
A what?
So we spent about 50 or so pages focused on Ellen Brody and her interest in having an affair with Matt Hooper. She throws a dinner party, and it's all to basically impress him, and then she asks him out to lunch, and it has some like, they have some pretty raunchy conversations about their sexual fantasies, and it's just weird and bizarre to even be included in this. It's unnecessary, and I don't know why it's in this story. They're just trying to portray Ellen as a bored housewife, and I guess cause some tension between Chief Brody and Hooper, but it's just, I don't know why. I like Hooper and Chief Brody's relationship in the movie a lot more. There is no affair, and there's just like a mutual respect between the two, and they just have a mutual respect for each other because they both have the same goal of trying to figure out what's this shark's deal and stopping it basically from attacking the beaches of Amity. And there's also this other subplot that is Mayor Vaughn and his relationship with the New York Mafia. That is, I don't even understand it fully, but basically Mayor Vaughn needs these beaches to be open, or else he'll get in deep shit with the mafia. And it's just unnecessary. His reasoning for wanting the beaches to be open is completely reasonable without the whole mafia subplot, because he's the mayor of this resort town that thrives and lives off of summer vacations that like out-of-towners come and stay in the town. They pay for homes, rentals, hotel stay. They bring in business, so it makes sense why he wouldn't want the beaches to be closed down, because they would lose a lot of business, and there's just no need for this mafia angle. I just don't get it. The first 100 pages of the book were so good, and they were very much close to the film, and we still haven't met Quint officially. He was mentioned in the first 100 pages, but we haven't officially met him yet, so I'm like, does he even come into play in this story? Because I'm like 200 pages in, and there's only like 300 pages, so I hope that now this book is going to focus entirely on their whole ordeal to get the shark. Oh, and we just got a cat murder, which was also completely unnecessary. So yeah, we are doing great here. Okay, I just got a whole ass line that is definitely a little racist. Is this racist? You tell me your thoughts. The newspaper guy, he says, "The town survives on its summer people, Mr. Whitman. Call it parasitic, if you will, but that's the way it is. The host animal comes every summer, and Amity feeds on it furiously, pulling every bit of sustenance it can before the host leaves again after Labor Day. Take away the host animal, and we're like dog ticks with no dog to feed on. We starve. At the very least, next winter is going to be the worst in the history of this town." Here's the the part I was like, what? I'm sorry, what? He says, we're gonna have so many people on the dole, I think that's how you say it, that Amity will look like Harlem. He chuckled. Harlem by the sea. So I googled what dole meant, and that means like people living on government assistance. I don't know what the heck. Hey guys, I'm here to close out this vlog. I finished reading Jaws in the last clip that you saw. It took me about 3 sittings to read. It's a pretty short book and it's easy to get through. It's only like 300 pages. And overall, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to. As a huge fan of the movie, I knew that the book was going to be a lot different and I was really worried. So that's why I stayed away from it for a while, but it wasn't that bad. So the book is split up into 3 parts, and the first part is about 100 pages, and that's the setup of the shark, where we get the shark attacking the skinny dipper, which we see in the beginning of the film, and that sets off the rest of the events that happen in the film. Chief Brody is still under pressure to keep the beaches open because they are a resort community that thrives on the summer months, and especially around the 4th of July, where a lot of out-of-towners come and they rent houses and they stay on the beaches, and businesses really thrive on those people coming to stay in their town. So what I thought was interesting about this is we got a little bit more insight into the Amity community. We got to meet a few more people that we don't actually get to see in the film, like the editor of the Amity Gazette. He was an interesting character. And then the second part of the book takes a hard left turn. It focuses on Chief Brody's wife, Ellen, and the affair that she decides to have with Matt Hooper, who is played by Richard Dreyfuss in the film. And it's just so cringy and uncomfortable, and it is completely unnecessary and pointless to the rest of the story. It goes nowhere. There is nothing other than creating tension, I guess, between Brody and Hooper, because Brody kind of knows that something happened between Hooper and his wife, and I just didn't think it was necessary. It's like kind of very vulgar, I guess you could say. Like their conversation, they literally just have dinner and talk about their sexual fantasies with each other, and it was just like super uncomfortable and cringy. I was like, is this Peter Benchley just writing out his sexual fantasies like for no reason? And the whole second half of the book, which is about like 100 pages, there is no mention of the shark, really. There's no shark action. It's just entirely focused on the affair and mafia subplots, and I don't understand. It's like Peter Benchley didn't know what to write to get a full-length novel, so he just added in this bullshit. What I don't like about this book, and majorly, is the characters are extremely unlikable in comparison to the characters in the film. Matt Hooper is so unlikable in this. He is such a pompous asshole, and he doesn't get along with Brody. Brody hates him, and one of the things I love about the film so much is the relationship between those two. Like, there's a mutual respect between them. Hooper specializes in the fish side of stuff. He brings that knowledge, and Brody brings the knowledge of Amity Island, and I don't understand why there needed to be that tension between them through the wife. There was just no reason. And we don't meet the character of Quint until page like 230, and there's only like 300 or so pages, which was shocking to me. There was mention of him throughout the first 100 pages, but we don't actually meet him until the third part of the book. And the meeting is kind of not as exciting as it is in the film. The film, we meet Quint at the meeting where they're deciding what to do, and he drags his claws down the chalkboard and he explains what he's gonna do. He's gonna get that fish.
I don't want no volunteers. I don't want no mates. There's too many captains on this island. $10,000 for me by myself. For that, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
And in the book, they just have a phone call, and that's about it. But I do think that they captured Quint's essence perfectly through Robert Shaw, because I could hear him speaking as the character in this book, and Quint is a little bit more unlikable in the book, as all the other characters are. And another major thing that's missing, which I knew, is the whole bonding moment between the three men, where they're sharing their scar stories, and Quint discusses how he was on board the USS Indianapolis when it sunk, and that scene is just so perfectly done and recited by Robert Shaw, and there's just so much tension and dread and heartache in that scene, and you can really fully understand why Quint is on this hunt for revenge against the shark.
I'll never put on a life jacket again. So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb.
There felt like a lot of heart was missing from the book that Spielberg was able to give in the film. And the ending of the book is super anticlimactic in comparison to the movie. It just drags on the whole third part where they're tracking the shark, and then it just happens and it's over. Spielberg obviously knew what he was doing. Like, he made it more cinematic, and I just love the build-up of the movie versus the book. Another thing I want to point out is this book has a little sprinkles of racism and sexism throughout that kind of turned me off a little bit. I was a little shocked by them. Yes, I understand, like, a character like Quint, I could hear him saying something like that or being homophobic or whatever, because that's just the type of character that he seemed like he would be like that. Like, he's the kind of person that would kill a baby dolphin and use it for bait. Comment, it's believable coming from a person, but is it really necessary to the story? No. But other than that, I thought it was an interesting read. I'm glad I read it so I can compare it. I don't think it's as good as the movie, and I think it is the perfect beach read. I read it while on the beach, and it goes by really quickly, and it's just interesting to make those comparisons, and it's interesting to see how Spielberg took this, which was a very bare bones kind of story, and just took it to the next level. He elevated it. He made it more of a story about this man's fight against beasts. It just felt more epic than the book, and there was just a lot of heart. The characters are so much more likable in the book, and there's no ridiculous affair subplots. So I had a fun time reading it, and I hope you enjoyed following me on this reading vlog. Let me know, have you read Jaws before? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you have made it this far and you want to leave a comment down below and you don't know what to say, just leave me some shark emojis, because I love sharks. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you hit that like button if you liked this, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this from me, and I will catch you next time, guys.
Smile, you son of a bitch!